All right, hello and a very good evening to you. Welcome to the broadcast. Yet again, we meet on this last Friday of the month of January 2026. Welcome to Hope TV's Newswatch. My name is Theo Macharia, and on the Sun language interpretation is Boniface Mureithi. And together, let's bring you a pace and candid with the latest stories making headlines in the world of news. Don't touch that dial. Let's begin with leaders of the United Opposition have issued a stern 2-week ultimatum to the Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja, threatening to lead a nationwide mass action if perpetrators of recent political violence are not brought to book. The demands follow a 2-hour closed-door meeting at the police headquarters in Nairobi. As Vincent Kerosi reports, the opposition chiefs now allege a deliberate scheme targeting their lives, citing a series of attacks against former Deputy President and DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua.
It was a high-powered delegation that arrived at Jogo House A Friday, carrying official complaints regarding the safety of opposition figures, particularly DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua. Emerging after nearly 2 hours with IG Douglas Kanja, the leaders raised the alarm. They pointed to a series of attacks meted out against Gachagua, culminating in an incident last Sunday, the 25th of January 2026, at the Witima ACK Church in Othaya, Nyeri County. The opposition leaders did not mince their words, claiming these incidents are not random, but deliberate attempts on their lives.
We said it, and we repeat, if you touch any national leader and assassinate any national leader a few months to the next general election, this country will never be the same again. But we love this country. Kenya, we reminded the police service, is a constitutional democracy. The role of the Kenyan police is to be impartial, not to take instructions from William Ruto.
The gravest accusation, however, is leveled against the police service itself. The leaders claim officers are either facilitating these attacks or are knowingly turning a blind eye to them. Consequently, they have drawn a line in the sand.
And looked at him straight in the eye and told him that the attack at Witima Church on Sunday in Othaya was not an ordinary attack. It was an assassination attempt targeted towards Rigathi Gachagua, sanctioned by William Ruto, planned by Kipchumba Murkomen and Eliud Langat, and a special squad of police officers called Nairobi Sierra of 12 officers was dispatched to eliminate us in charge. We have told the IG that before we come back on the 16th, those members of that unit need to be arrested and disarmed and taken to court, and he must give that assurance. And we have said that if this situation continues after 16th, hatutakuwa na lingine la kufanya ni kuitisha maandamano katika Jamhuri ya Kenya until Kipchumba Murkomen is removed from office.
Following the high-stakes meeting, the leaders took their message directly to the people at a rally in Nairobi's Wakulima Market. They insisted that they won't honor the request by the police to submit advance itineraries of their future public meetings.
Wanasiasa, hatutaki polisi wafanye kazi chafu ya kupiga wanasiasa. Hatutaki polisi waikilie uchaguzi wakisaidia Kasongo.
Leo tumeambia Kanja, usipokoma kunyanyasa watu wa upinzani, kupiga Rigiji na wenzetu, wewe utakoma kama IG nani? Kome. Tuko pamoja. Jana tumekuwa IBC, tumeambia Chairman Ethacon ya kwamba sisi tumeungana kutoka mulima hadi baharini. Sisi tumeungana kutoka Western hadi Eastern, na wote tumekubaliana 75% ya Wakenya kwamba Ruto ni one.
Tunajua Ruto si mtu ambaye anaweza pata katiba ya Kenya. Ndio sababu ameharibu kila pembe. Masomo ndio hayo ameharibu. Uchumi ndio huo anaharibu. Vijana ndio hao wanashika na ua, wengine bado mpaka leo hajulikani kwenye wako.
Mambo.
As the country braces itself for the campaign season proper, the united opposition has effectively drawn the line in the sand, placing the responsibility squarely at the feet of the Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja. Vincent Kerosi, National Police Headquarters, Jogo House A, Nairobi.
And still on that note, in a rejoinder on the official National Police X account, Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja has acknowledged receipt of the United Opposition's complaints. In the statement, the IG has reiterated the service's position of political neutrality and its commitment to serve all Kenyans equally and without fear or favor. Kanja further capitalized on the opportunity to remind leaders of their obligation to ensure police were alerted to any meetings or visits to any parts of the country for the purpose of enhancing security coverage. And the Supreme Court has dismissed 2 consolidated applications filed by Rigathi Gachagua and the National Assembly in a long-running legal dispute arising from the impeachment proceedings against the former deputy president over the empanelment of a high court bench to hear related petitions. Now, the highest court ruled that it lacks jurisdiction to interfere with matters before a lower court in a decision reaffirming constitutional hierarchy of the judicial system. Now, in a unanimous decision delivered on Friday, a 5-judge bench comprising of Chief Justice Martha Koome, Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu, and Justices Smokin Wanjala, Njoki Ndongo, and Isaac Lenaola held at the Apex Court can only issue stay orders in respect of proceedings before the Court of Appeal, not the High Court. Now, what this decision means is that Gachagua's impeachment dispute now returns to the 3-judge High Court bench led by Justice Eric Ogola, the same panel that Rigathi Gachagua has repeatedly and unsuccessfully sought to block. And the government has officially opened the application window for the Nyota Project's Component 1, focusing on the On-the-Job Experience program, setting aside 20 billion shillings budgeted for project. Now, Principal Secretary for Youth Affairs and Creative Economy, Fikirini Jacobs, said the initiative will directly benefit 820 vulnerable youths who did not progress beyond Form 4, alongside persons with disabilities. Meanwhile, applications for other components under the Nyota program's second cohort have also gone live, with the portal remaining open for 2 weeks to allow eligible applicants to submit their details.
Mahali pamoja katika ile financial inclusion platform. Tukasema sababu ya pili sasa, kwa kuwa vijana wengine wengi walikosa nafasi ya ule msaada wa biashara wa kuweza kuwapa pesa mtaji wa kufanya biashara, ile ruzuku kama grant. Sasa wale ambao walikosa nafasi ile wako na nafasi sasa ya kujiunga katika mradi huu ambao watapata mafunzo ili wajiendeleze kimaisha. Aidha watapata nafasi hapa Kenya ama wanapata nafasi nje kupitia mradi wa kusafirisha vijana wanaoenda kufanya kazi katika mataifa ya ugeni. Kwa hivyo hiyo ndio sababu kuanzia jana usiku tulifungua upya ukurasa wa vijana kutuma maombi ambao ni kupitia USSD code ya *254#. Vijana waweze kutuma maombi kwa muda wa wiki 2. Utakuwa wazi kwa kijana kutuma maombi. Baadaye tutafunga na tutafanya ratiba za kiofisi ili tuweze kutuma jumbe kwa wale ambao tutakuwa tumewachagua ili tuanze mafunzo mapema, kwa sababu kidogo tunaona tuko.
And the Law Society of Kenya has officially launched the construction of Wakili Towers, which is a flagship project set to give the legal profession a permanent and modern headquarters. The groundbreaking ceremony was held at the LSK Secretariat along Gitanga Road in Nairobi and presided over by Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen. Now, Chief Justice Martha Koome and LSK President Faith Odhiambo were also in attendance. Once complete, Wakili Towers will serve as a central hub for advocates and justice sector stakeholders, promoting efficiency, professionalism, and financial sustainability. And a section of women leaders has condemned the rising insecurity, gender-based violence, and challenges facing the competency-based education system, calling for urgent action by the government and all stakeholders. Speaking under the umbrella of ECHO Network Africa Foundation, the African Women Leaders Network Kenya chapter, and the Democracy Trust Fund, the women warned that escalating violence threatens national cohesion and disproportionately affects women, children, persons with disabilities, and other vulnerable groups, urging President William Ruto to urgently declare gender-based violence a national disaster in line with recommendations by the Presidential Technical Working Group led by Dr. Nancy Baraza. Police in Narok town have launched investigations after the body of an unidentified man was found lying in a trench along the Narok-Ololunga road near the post office early Friday morning. This follows a report by a boda rider. The deceased is said to have had serious head injuries, suspected to have been inflicted using a blunt object. Narok Central Police Sub-County Commander Benson Pamba said that security patrols within the area have been intensified following a spike in murder cases reported since December last year, and follows another that occurred last week in which a man suspected to have stolen a motorcycle was lynched to death by an irate boda riders.
Stati, a boda operator reported through telephone call to Narok police station that he has seen a body of a human being lying in the trench along Narok Olelunga Road near the posta office. Police officer from Narok police station, led by the OC crime, Inspector Vincent Kimeli, rushed to the scene, and on arrival, they found a body of a male African, an adult male African lying in the trench. On examination of the body, it had an injury on the head caused by a blunt object.
Kwa kazini alipigwa, saa hii yako hali mahututi, anaendelea kutibiwa kule Nairobi Hospital. Tena jana huyu ameuawa hapo tu hiyo laini. Last month hapo December kuna mtu tena aliuawa hapo. Nyinyi kama polisi mnachukua hatua gani ya kuhakikisha kwamba usalama imepatiwa kipaumbele kwa watu?
Let's share information that can lead the police to bring this culprit to book, as it appears is within our community.
All right, still ahead are more top stories, but just before we inform you with what is coming on the other side, allow us to take this fast short commercial break. Keep it Hope TV. Don't go too far. We'll be right back after this break.
Get ready for an unforgettable worship experience.
Mimi nataka ushirika nawe.
every Sunday on Ultimate Worship, where we bring you live music, powerful praise, and anointed gospel ministers and bands. Join us every Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. with a repeat at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's not just music, it's worship unleashed. It's Ultimate Worship.
You're too faithful to fail me.
Only on Hope TV, where you look and live.
Are you ready now? What if your pain had a purpose? What if your past was just a beginning of a greater story?
Gotten to another level because now I could not do anything without it, and now it became like a poison. I take it today, it grounds me for 3 more days.
If I had not read the Bible, when I read the Bible, it just confirmed all the more that I had an encounter with the Lord, because I told him, Lord, why have you come to me?
From the streets to the sanctuary, from the prison yard to the pulpit, real people are sharing the power of God's transforming love. No matter where you've been, God can rewrite your story.
So I got him. I just called, and by luck, he picked up the phone. I explained everything and what I was feeling.
Wow.
He started praying in tongues immediately over the phone, and that thing, whatever it was, it stopped.
Join me, Sharon Aitore Wanganye, for Testify every Thursday at 8 p.m. as we listen through the journey of hope, healing, and redemption through the voices of people just like you.
And when you're running away from God, there's only the fire you can run.
Yeah.
I stand here as a witness that God catches up.
These aren't just stories, they are testimonies. Don't just watch, testify.
All right, welcome back, and thank you so much for choosing Hope TV to inform you on this last Friday of January 2026. Let's now proceed where hundreds of learners in Laikipia North have been forced out of school as families flee their homes following a surge in cattle raids and rising insecurity in the area. Learning has been disrupted in at least 4 schools, that is Soit, Oundo, Kurum, Saramba, and Sikh, after parents moved with their children to safer areas, fearing fresh attacks. Now, in just 1 week, more than 1,200 goats and 200 cattle have been stolen, leaving villages deserted as residents migrate from Doldol towards Nanyuki. Locals say the attackers, believed to be from neighboring Isiolo County, are using the dense Mukogodo forest to launch raids and hide stolen livestock. Despite the establishment of 2 GSU camps and the government gazetting the forest as disturbed, residents fear the violence could recur, keeping schools closed and communities on edge.
Tumeadhirika sana na hawa bandits, wametusumbua sana, wanakuja kuchukua mali yetu. Jioni unaanza kuona watu almost 150. Wanakuja sasa, tunaogopa, watu wengine wamehama, shule zimefungwa, tumebaki tu hivyo. Wenye wamebaki sasa ni wanahangaika tu hivyo. Wengine wanalala ndani ya malada, wengine wanalala shuleni. So hatujui tufanye aje.
Watu wote wametoroka na watoto, mifugo. Zimepita eneo ijulikanayo kama Irpolei, zinatorokea zaidi ya Kimakandura. Juu ya kwamba security pande imekuwa haijulikani, tunaambiwa time watu wako hapa, wako pande hii. Sasa watu wakawa na wasiwasi mingi, hata walimu wa shule hii wametoroka. Sasa sisi tunatangazia ya kwamba ingekuwa better watutumanishie serikali
ikapiga sisi kabisa na kachukua mali mengi zaidi hata mali ya 2,000, mangamia, mang'ombe na mambusi kwa wengi, na hata amepiga wase, amepiga mzee mmoja kwa mzee amepiga kabisa mpaka kaangusha chini. Hata hiyo sasa mzee ni bado ni mgonjwa na lala chini. Ale moyere naitwa Malundu Olorkerene le moyere. Sasa hiyo kitu ndio ilifanya sisi tuame.
Transport along the busy Eldoret-Malaba highway was paralyzed on Friday after border riders and residents took to the streets to protest the alleged assault of a rider by county enforcement officers. The demonstrations erupted after a rider, identified as Eric Juma, was reportedly attacked near traffic lights in Eldoret Central Business District. They lit bonfires and blocked the highway, bringing traffic to a standstill and forcing several businesses to close. Police moved in to disperse the crowd using tear gas amid fears of looting. Uasin Gishu Police Commander Benjamin Mwanthi confirmed investigations had been launched into the incident. However, County Executive Committee member for administration Joseph Lagat denied claims that county officers were involved in the alleged assaults.
We have since traced him, tukampeleka hospitali akatibiwa, na as we speak now ana record statement at one of our police stations ndio tuweze kufuatilia. Nataka kuhakikishia wananchi ya kwamba tutaichunguza irrespective of one of our own ambayo ni mwenzetu from the county government alihusika, so tutaichunguza without any bias, tuhakikisha kwamba mwenye aliumia amepata haki. In the same way nataka kuomba wana bodaboda wasifunge mabarabara as they did yesterday evening and this morning, kwa sababu hizi barabara, this is an international highway, inapita watu wengi, ambulance inapita, wana inconvenience watu wengi wa biashara.
The deputy governor of this county met the leadership of the border and I can report here that we do not have any pending grievances from the border. But if they feel that they have anything to share with the county, we are open, we are ready to listen to them, and we'll address any issue that they may arise. We know we have had issues in the past where the county askaris have had confrontations with the county askaris, but as a county, we have addressed that and we are saying our doors are open.
And Gatondo South Member of Parliament Gabriel Kagombe has condemned the eruption of chaotic scenes at the Gatondo South Deputy County Commissioner's offices in Kiambu County yesterday, where hundreds of widows and widowers were seen scrambling for relief food. The distribution exercise, organized by Principal Secretary for Correctional Services Salome Biko to support vulnerable families during the ongoing drought, turned chaotic shortly after she handed out food rations to a few beneficiaries. Lack of proper crowd control and order saw the crowd overwhelm the available security officers and rush towards where the rice and beans had been stored, making away with whatever they could grab. In the melee, police officers fired blank shots into the air in an attempt to disperse the crowd when numerous people dropped their food as they fled, spilling rice and beans on the ground.
Such a shame. It is the apex of lack of dignity, lack of respect. It is the most indignifying act I have seen in my entire life. For a woman that I would expect would have decorum, would know what is happening, to feed old men and women from the road, from the tarmac, from the floor, and give them beans and rice from the floor. I mean, I am sure even her cat and her dog at her house are fed better. They must have somewhere dignified to eat from. For peers to come and give and serve food from the floor to the residents of the great Gatondo South. She needs to know where Gatondo South is. She needs to understand what Gatondo South is. It is the most indignifying act I have seen in my entire life.
The Kenya Wildlife Service is making significant efforts to conserve the wildlife ecosystem while also adopting modern techniques to enhance and sustain it. Data from the 2025 National Wildlife Census report released by President William Ruto reveals a positive increase in the elephant and rhino population attributed to intensive conservation efforts. Our reporter Caleb Mwoti has more on this story.
Kenya is implementing the 7th edition of the action plan, whose vision is to have an increased population of various species by Kenya's Vision 2030. Remarkable progress achieved through strategic population recovery initiatives has led Kenya's black rhino population to surpass the halfway mark of its strategic vision.
In a drive to curb poaching in the country, our former president Uhuru Kenyatta was able to burn into ashes some tusks and ivory that were caught from the poachers.
In a remarkable achievement, the KWS have been able to achieve zero rhino poaching in recent years.
We are grateful as an organization, and we'd say more or less proud to have been able to achieve zero rhino poaching for some years now. And also for us as a park, there are those day-to-day activities that we do that also enable us to achieve that.
Yeah, that's right. In the morning, when the sun is... Tourism generates approximately 12% of Kenya's GDP, with elephants ranked among the most attractions. Additionally, the KWS implements modern techniques that improve wildlife monitoring and ensure long-term sustainability of the ecosystem.
Yeah, for our rhino monitoring, we have Earth Ranger, we have LoRaWAN that we use to monitor our rhino on day-to-day basis, apart from the daily patrols that are conducted by the rangers.
Human-wildlife conflict remains one of the biggest challenges facing conservation efforts, particularly for communities living near protected areas. To address this, KWS has intensified mitigation measures, including rapid response teams, community sensitization programs, and the use of technology to monitor animal movements. For Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Caleb Mwoti.
All right, news done, and now it's time for us to take a look at what's happening in the world of sports. And we begin on some matters FKF here in the country. Gor Mahia is set to face Sofapaka in a league match at Nyayo Stadium this Saturday from 4 p.m. with head coach Charles Akono says preparations have been good and they are well aware of the task ahead. The tactician is confident and says they have to keep momentum. And goalkeeper Gad Matthews and midfielder Duang maintain the playing unit is in good shape and their target is maximum points. Gor Mahia and Sofapaka have built a compelling league rivalry that now spans 35 meetings, shaped by contrasting paths and several season-defining moments heading into the league encounter on Saturday.
Previous matches in the past, we've always had issues with teams that are, but then maybe sometimes underrate them, you know. And so our mental toughness should be said that we are ready. We want to deliver, want to do the right things, and then make sure we win the match convincingly. Also, we don't want a situation where we come back from behind and then we win the match. Sometimes it takes too much energy to do that. So we've prepared very well. We've seen them. They are a good side, side that is organized. We saw them play FC. And so we prepared adequately to be able to make sure we do well in that match.
The FKF Leagues and Competitions Committee has delivered its verdict on 2 abandoned FKF Premier League fixtures. In the Nairobi United match against Gor Mahia, The committee found that the game was halted due to circumstances beyond control, and the score at the time of abandonment has been allowed to stand, with the fixture officially ending in a 1-1 draw. In the second case involving Ulinzi Stars and Murang'a Seals, the committee ruled that Ulinzi Stars failed to resume play, leading to the match being awarded to Murang'a Seal. The result has been recorded as a 2-0 win for Murang'a Seal, with the matter now before the disciplinary and referees committees for further review. All right, and on that note, we've come to a close of Hope TV's Newswatch on this last day of the month of January 2026. Many thanks for keeping us company for the whole of the month of January. My name is Theo Macharia, and on the sign language interpretation is Boniface Morethi. And from the men and women behind the scenes, we wish you a restful night and a happy new month coming next week. And also remember, there is nothing that is too hard for the Lord. Good night and God bless.